So James Gunn has shared a new photo from the set of Superman to celebrate actor Eddie Gathegi's birthday, writing, "Happy birthday to my great friend and great actor Eddie Gathegi, who you can see in all his technological glory in Superman in July." I really like when James Gunn shares these behind-the-scenes looks at the making of the movie. Last week he shared a photo of Superman's boots in the snow, and now we have this one that shows a lot more from the set, and there's a lot to talk about here. This appears to capture a moment just before they're about to roll cameras, and James Gunn appears to be blocking out the scene with Eddie Gathegi and Rachel Brosnahan, giving them some direction, likely about where he wants them to stand and how he wants them to move in relation to where he's going to be placing the camera. As you may know, Gunn is a real hands-on director, according to the actors that have worked with him, and he has a real vision of how he wants his films to look. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's breaking down what he hopes to accomplish with this scene and why it's so important to the movie. And we're going to talk more about what's going on in the scene and why it's so important. But for now, let's talk about Mr. Terrific. It must be a very warm day because behind him is a man holding an umbrella to block out the sun and what looks to be two small fans to keep him cool in his suit, which must feel like a furnace inside. This is probably the best look we've had of Mr. Terrific's full suit outside of the photos that leaked online when they first began shooting. Like we saw in the trailer, Mr. Terrific wears a black T-mask on his face, which acts as a form of defense that makes him invisible to technology. If we look at his jacket, it's black, white, and red with the words "Fair Play" written on the sleeves. Then we have his pants and boots, which match the colors of his jacket. There has been a lot of talk about the costumes in this movie. A lot of people have criticized them for having a different look than they imagined. But Mr. Terrific's suit is very comic book accurate, and I think it's going to look great in the movie. It's rumored that Mr. Terrific, as well as the other heroes in the movie, with the exception of Superman, work for Maxwell Lord and a company called Stag Industries, which would explain their similar costume designs. What we do know for certain, as confirmed by James Gunn himself, is that Mr. Terrific will play a significant role in the film. Standing next to him is Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. We see that she's also holding a big umbrella and a small portable fan to keep herself cool. She's wearing a white top with a brown jacket, which is a color we've often seen the character wear many times over the years. We've seen it in Superman and Lois, Smallville, and even Lois and Clark back in the day. And from other images we've seen of Lois Lane, we know that some of the outfits that she's going to be wearing in the film are directly inspired by their comic book origins. She's also wearing these kind of throwback green high-water pants, green socks, and brown shoes. Something that hasn't really been talked about in all the Superman coverage is just how much of a throwback costume-wise this movie's going to be. Some of the extras in this movie can be seen wearing clothes that look straight out of the 50s and 60s, and it's been heavily implied that Metropolis as a city will very much have a throwback look. Just like how Gotham tends to look different, more dark, gritty, and gothic in the Batman movies, Metropolis will have its own unique look as well. Now let's talk about this scene and how it plays into the bigger plot of the movie. It's likely that this part of the movie takes place in Boravia, a fictional country in the DC universe that's in crisis in this movie and has troops amassing at the border. Standing behind the actors, we see these tent areas and people dressed in Hawaiian shirts. We see a similar scene in the trailer where Mr. Terrific uses his T-spears to block lasers fired at him and Lois Lane. We can see people dressed in Hawaiian shirts ducking for cover as troops dressed in purple and green power suits, likely working for Lex Luthor, fire at them. In the comics, Lex Luthor often donned a purple and green power suit or battle suit to fight Superman, so we might see him wear that in this film. But we also know the rest of the group works for Lex Luthor. In the first teaser that Gunn released, we see one of them holding a clipboard with a document that reads Luthor Corp. So we definitely know that Lois Lane and Mr. Terrific have uncovered something pretty big here. Gunn also shared a new photo of Venezuelan actress Maria Gabriel de Fara as the engineer, laying in the grass inside of a stadium, writing "Happy Anniversary to the Engineer," created by Warren Ellis and Brian Hitch, who you can see played to sinister perfection by puppy in human form Gabby de Faria in Superman this July. The engineer is one of the central villains in the movie, who works with Lex Luthor to take down Superman. She's best known in the comics for being part of a team called The Authority, which is kind of a dark version of the Justice League. Gunn is planning to make an Authority movie, but said in his DCU Update interview that it's one of the projects that are still stuck in development. In the photo, we see that she's dressed in an all-black suit and posing for a shot in between filming one of the intense action sequences at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. There's a crew off in the distance working to set up for a major throwdown between her character and Superman. But this location is also where Superman faces off against Ultraman. You may remember this scene in the trailer where the two are flying across the field, locked in a fierce battle. And if you've seen my behind the scenes video, then you know that Mr. Terrific and Ultraman will also clash at this stadium. Recently, Gunn sat down with reporters and revealed that Warner Brothers is planning a major marketing campaign and press tour for Superman. Naturally, a lot of fans immediately assumed this meant Gunn would be bringing Superman to San Diego Comic-Con this year, but that's not the case. Gunn clarified that there are no major plans to promote the movie at Comic-Con. It might seem odd at first considering Comic-Con is the place to promote superheroes, especially considering Superman is one of the biggest comic book characters of all time. So what's going on? Well, Warner Brothers will still have a presence at Comic-Con with posters, banners, and booths, but there won't be any major plans to promote Superman. Instead, they're saving the big push for this year's CinemaCon. But what exactly is CinemaCon, and why is it considered the most important movie convention of the year, even more than Comic-Con? CinemaCon is an annual convention for movie theater owners from around the world that takes place in Las Vegas. Every year, industry professionals gather to preview the latest in upcoming films, concessions, seating, and projection. But for most people, the highlight of CinemaCon is the studio presentations. All the major studios are there, showcasing their upcoming slates, and attendees get the first look at what's coming. These presentations can include everything from sneak peeks, trailers, footage, and full screenings of films that won't be released for months. On stage, directors and stars often make appearances to talk about their films to excite movie theater owners and help them decide how many screens they'll dedicate to a movie. But attending CinemaCon is not cheap. Passes are very expensive and tickets are not available to the general public. Plus, it's held at Caesar's Palace, and rooms are very pricey during the week-long event. But despite the costs, CinemaCon offers a unique opportunity for industry professionals to come together, stay ahead of the latest trends, and build hype around upcoming films. Now that you know what CinemaCon is, I can tell you we've got a pretty good idea of what James Gunn is going to show there and when it'll happen. James Gunn mentioned that the press tour for Superman will be similar to how they rolled out the Barbie movie. As you may recall, Barbie went on to make over $1 billion globally, thanks in part to the studio's smart promotion strategy. It was a very successful rollout, so it only makes sense to copy that winning formula. For that film, director Greta Gerwig, along with stars Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, took the stage at CinemaCon to discuss the making of the movie. They talked about everything from behind-the-scenes moments to how well the cast got along during filming to give a peek into the film's creation. And we can likely expect the same kind of rollout for Superman when Gunn presents at CinemaCon. So besides James Gunn, we can expect the stars of the film, David Cornswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult, to attend the event. As the main cast, they'll be the best ones to share their experiences and insights about what it was like to bring their characters to life. During the presentation, you can expect the cast to discuss the filmmaking process from the initial concept to shooting on location. They'll maybe share behind-the-scenes stories, providing insights into becoming their iconic characters, and talk about the dynamics of working with James Gunn, who's known for his distinctive storytelling style. Now that we know where the presentation is going to take place, what exactly is James Gunn going to show at CinemaCon? Will Gunn show a clip of the film, a new trailer, or even screen the full movie? Not likely, because he recently shot down the idea that he would show an early screening of the movie. I think he's going to show some extended footage of David Cornswet as Superman that sets up the central conflict with Lex Luthor, followed by a short sizzle reel of some action from the film. Showing a key scene from the film, followed by brief scenes that show some action, is similar in format to what Barbie director Greta Gerwig showed at CinemaCon during her presentation. So now that we have a good idea of what's going to be be shown, you may be wondering, when is it going to happen? On the CinemaCon website, we can see here that Warner Brothers Pictures is holding an event called The Big Picture, which is a special presentation of their upcoming slate. This presentation is going to be 2 hours long and take place April 1st between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. So you're gonna wanna mark your calendars and hit that subscribe button, because even if you're not someone who can attend CinemaCon, you're not gonna wanna miss our coverage of the footage that James Gunn shows during this event. Just keep in mind that DC Studios won't be the only division Warner Brothers will be highlighting during these 2 hours. In addition to Superman, this year Warner Brothers will be also releasing a Minecraft movie with Jack Black, Ryan Coogler's Sinners starring Michael B. Jordan, F1 starring Brad Pitt, and Mortal Kombat 2 starring Karl Urban. And what's exciting about that is we can expect sneak previews and first looks from all these films. Personally, I'm looking forward to Superman the most, but I'm really interested to hear what you think. Do you think James Gunn skipping Comic-Con is a bad idea? Or do you think CinemaCon is the right place to do that big marketing push? And what do you think is going to be shown there? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below, because I really want to know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Cinema Maverick channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.